Good morning. I'm Ahmed Elnaggar, and this is Monday Legal. Today, my guest speaker is Nadim Jisr. He is the editorial lead of Thomson Reuters and a very dear friend, a bookworm. I know the guy very well, and that's why I asked him to come join us.
Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you very much for
Ahmed.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
Nadim, I will ask you the same question I ask to everybody. What is your morning drink? What do you drink in the morning?
Recently, for the past few years, it's been coffee, just black coffee. It started out with sugar and milk, but for as long as I can remember, I think for like 10 years now or more, it's been just black coffee.
Yeah, I think that happens to many lawyers. They start with a lot of sweet stuff and then they stop.
I'm just. It was just a trend to actually cut down on the intake of sugar because I like sweets. I'm a person who likes sweets, so I prefer sweet food over salty food. But still, I started tasting the real coffee without sugar.
How many coffee cups you have per day?
Well, it depends on how busy the day is, but usually it's 1 cup in the morning and 1 cup in the afternoon.
So Nadim, I made a very quick, unfair introduction for you by just saying your job right now, but I know that you've been working with Thomson Reuters for quite a while.
Yes,
but I would like that you make a little bit of personal introduction for yourself from graduation and even before that, if you want, if you tell us why did you start with the law and how did your journey unfold?
My passion with the law started, I think, like any other child who has a lawyer, a father who is a lawyer. But it's not only that. I come from a generation of lawyers. So my grandfather was a lawyer as well, and he worked as a judge, and he has some publications in law as well. So I think it's a family it's a family tradition.
It's in the DNA.
It is in the DNA because my other siblings as well are actually lawyers as well. And my sister is married to a PhD doctor who teaches in Kuwait. But yes, my passion with law started when I started going with my father to his office. I was about 10 or 11 years old. Ever since then, whoever asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up, I would say a lawyer. So I eventually graduated from school. I went into law school.
Where did you go?
It was a mix of French and English schools. I started in a French school in Lebanon, and then when Shuwaifat opened, International School of Shuwaifat Sabit System, my parents moved me to the English system, and I graduated from the English system. And then I studied law at the Lebanese University. It's the public university in Lebanon, and I graduated in 2007. I joined the bar in 2008, and I've been practicing since then. I've joined Thomson Reuters 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago now. Yeah, coming November, it will be my 10th year.
Wow.
As an editor, as a legal specialist or legal editor for legislation and cases. And I got the chance to be promoted, I got the opportunity to get promoted and lead the team that I originally joined. And I've been working since then with them.
How does it feel like working 10 years in such a big organization doing, I'm not sure, I'm sure it's not exactly the same job. You've been having these promotions and growing in your career with Thomson Reuters. But what's the difference between where you started and where are you today?
The actual type of work that we do or the coverage that we have has changed a lot, and the number of clients and subscribers that we cater to is increasing as well. And you have to adapt to the market and to the change and the needs of your clients in terms of legal content. It's not only about sourcing legislation per se. Legislation is available everywhere now.
Yes.
All governments are establishing their public portals. The Arabic content is free and accessible for everyone. Even some of them have the English text available. The UAE cabinet announced their portal, a couple of months ago. So legislation is accessible to everyone. It's how you package it and how you deliver it to the customer and meet his needs This is what's really challenging and keeps you growing and developing with the way or with your client's development.
I mean, Thomson Reuters is a big name in general. Maybe when people who are out of the legal field would understand and recognize Thomson Reuters as the news company, but not many understand that they are doing this legal tech product that is widely used by many people. Maybe you can give our audience a little bit of an introduction. What does Thomson Reuters do with the legal field?
Thomson Reuters is more than, I think, around almost 20 years now, or a bit less old, and they are known as a legal publisher as well globally, not only in the region, but I mean globally. They are known for their legal publications, for the books they publish. In the UK, they have one of the main publishers, Sweet and Maxwell Publishing House. In the US, they're well known. And even you can see law graduates and lawyers coming from the US, they would tell you, I relied on Westlaw while studying in university.
Even here.
As well. Universities are subscribing to Westlaw as a legal database or a legal resource. So they are very active within the legal field in terms of tech, definitely information and technology. And they're creating all of these legal resources for practitioners and students. But now they're heavily investing in AI.
Yeah.
So they're building a lot of products around AI, and they're even equipping their already existing legal solutions. So you have AI in Westlaw in the US. It's coming for practical law in the UK and Australia. We have co-counsel. Yeah. So it's coming.
Yeah. So what's your role in Thomson Reuters in regards to this as an editorial lead? What do you do?
Our day-to-day job is to maintain the database that we handle, Westlaw Middle East, the product that we sell, and the team and I are focused on keeping all of this content updated, current, and definitely without errors or without discrepancies between the English and Arabic texts.
Yeah.
So we're constantly on the lookout for new legislation, new regulations to source and update. The same applies for cases, and we do that for 10 jurisdictions across the Middle East. Apart from being a regular, support, day-to-day support to clients, they can reach out to us by email or and send us their queries, and we can help with their research.
And in order to do this job, what do you subscribe to? You also subscribe to the government issued.
Similarly, yes, like any other law office, they would have access to gazettes. We have the same access, so we rely on the official sources because we need to provide
reliable,
trusted information, trusted answers. But the way we publish this on the portal, or the way we actually help the clients with, this is something that requires expertise, and this is what we do.
Yeah. And do you handle the translation as well from the English into the different languages?
Not personally, but we have a team of translators that work with us. Legal translators that help us, with the translation. They're used to translating bulks of of pages, but we do review internally.
Okay.
Because we are lawyers and we are Arabic native speakers as well. Everybody on the team is a native Arabic speaker, because you need to understand the original language of the law, and see it replicated in the English text. The idea with legal translation, it's not literal. It's not just Google Translate is good when you just put a random paragraph,
a conversation, or
yes, exactly, a random text. But when it comes to legal, it's not always literal. It's never literal. It has to come within the context of the law. So sometimes you need to reread the text in Arabic, understand what it means, and then translate not the actual word, but translate the meaning in English, so it makes sense and it's coherent with the whole law.
Yeah. Aside from these, let's say, resources that you make it available for all the legal practitioners or students or anybody who's working in the legal field, I know as well that you, as you said, Thomson Reuters is a publishing entity, and they have their own legal literature. Do you write articles yourself, or do you rely on editors to write regular articles, guidance, notes, and things like that? And where do you distribute it?
For practical law, I think you may know about practical law.
Yes.
It's the main legal solution that Thomson Reuters sells, which contains practical guidance, different forms of practical guidance. Articles is the main bulk of it, and we have in-house auditors, editors actually. Yeah. So we hire editors. We hire in every region editors for practical law, and they work on the content of the region. In terms of Westlaw, we do prepare in-house content. I do write some of these articles. The team writes some of these articles as well, and we publish it on a small blog that's accessible for clients. But these are types of legal updates, quick nuances into what the law is, what a new law has been passed, what does it mean, or how can it impact your business. But if you want in-depth analysis, legal analysis from qualified practitioners, you have to go to practical law. This is where the essence is.
Well, my understanding for practical law was that it gives more into drafts and practical notes.
This is one side of it.
Yeah.
And it provides you with templates as well, but the editors are required to prepare legal analysis on different subjects. It could be commercial, corporate, arbitration, litigation, anything.
And this is accessible to your clients?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay, understood.
It's a different solution. Next to Westlaw, it complements Westlaw because it's the practical guidance, and Westlaw is the legal database where you can find the laws and regulations and cases.
Tell me how practical law, for example, is assisting or helping your clients, because your clients are the law firms, the lawyers who are supposed
this is a question that must be asked to clients so you can hear their feedback. But I think from the interest of clients and from the way they ask about practical law, it's not only in the region, globally, and every foreign lawyer that comes into the region that works in a law firm in the UAE, they first ask about practical law because they've tested it in other regions, and they know its impact and its significance and importance. So it does help. And apart from the content that's generated by editors, in-house editors of Thomson Reuters, law firms get to contribute as well into chapters about certain topics, into amending these notes, keeping it current, so they can also interact with content from other law firms and see what's being written in the market about different subjects, if it's not a practice area that they cover.
Have you seen some law firms taking the practical law notes and just giving the same advice to their clients immediately without really doing the work?
This. I don't know. I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
I don't believe this happens. I mean, every lawyer has to do his own due diligence. Even if you are taking this from a trusted source, you still need to review and tailor this to your client's case. It's a case-by-case basis, and the facts differ. So what the editors write on practical law is not an advice for a case. It's a general understanding of the law, but an in-depth understanding of the law, which you can rely on to base, a principal answer or a principal, consultancy, and then you can tailor it to your client. Yeah.
And I have a question for you. How many hours do you spend reading a day?
Just to do this job? Reading or
no, just in the job.
No, it's non-stop reading, to be honest. If you need to understand what the client needs, and if you want to generate more articles or prepare the content in a way that helps clients more, you need to read. You need to understand the legal market, and it's not only about reading laws or expanding your legal knowledge, as in I know the real estate law or I know the criminal law. It's not only that. This is helpful a lot. But you need to have basic legal knowledge about how a system works, how the courts work, what is a civil law system, what is a common law system, for example. Yeah. And then you would need also to understand what are the needs of a legal market. How are they developing? It's not only about giving a legal opinion. You need to be able to get access to the proper resources to give the proper legal opinion. So although we're not entitled to give a legal opinion when clients ask us questions, we always try to help with directing them to the right resource or to the right law or article and say, look, you need to read this, you need to read this, you need to read that, check this law, check this, that, but we cannot consider this as a legal advice. We're not entitled to do that, yeah. But we can help direct you. And a lot of the questions that I've answered the clients on were because I read a lot about the new laws that are coming out. And sometimes I go back and read about a law that was issued 2 years ago or 3 years ago, because by now there are a good number of articles that people wrote. So you can get different perspective from an in-house perspective as well, and from a law firm's perspective. And then you can formulate it from, maybe a better answer or a better view from your own reading and understanding as well.
Yeah.
So my job is not only about just sourcing the legislation. I have to be able to assist the clients when they reach out to me and help them understand that, yes, this law is applicable, it's not applicable, if it's been amended, repealed, all of these answers. So this is quite some reading.
Yeah.
during the day.
You have quite a good visibility on how many private practice lawyers or even in-house lawyers in the market, and how many are using these solutions. Too many.
Not only us, I think they are using other solutions.
It's
not only about Thomson Reuters.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a legal department currently that functions without at least one legal solution. It might not be Westlaw, it might not be somewhere else. It might be practical law for drafts, for example. Yeah. This is based on how big the law department is, the budgeting and all of that. A lot of factors come into play here. But I haven't seen for the past at least 3 or 5 years now a legal department that functions without at least one legal resource. Or shall I say as well, they have a legal resource and they have a management solution as well. So these two go alongside. Yeah.
Me and you are of a I don't know, we're not old, but we have seen the development in this legal resources and so on. You graduate 2007, I graduate 2006. It was not like that.
No.
When we started,
no, it's not.
Legal resources were books, and were hours and hours to read, actually, and
too much.
Yes, and it was very hard to find a resource and to borrow it or to have access to it, and now it's super easy.
Look, it's not.
It's expensive, much more expensive than before.
Let's not worry about the commercials or the budgets. It's not about the cost of the technology or the resource that you now can get. Yes, it might be expensive these days, but I think in the future, as technology advances, it's going to become cheaper. I believe it's people are getting more and more access to technology. You can see startups building solutions based on AI as well. So which means they will be able to compete and prices will go down. So it's not only about information being expensive to access. No, it's in my opinion, it is easier, definitely. With a click of a button, you can read thousands of pages where you needed to read thousands of pages of volumes of Al-Sanhuri, for example.
Yes.
If you wanted to research something. But I can tell you that this has built a generation of well-versed and well-knowledged lawyers, because what you read and what you write by hand and take notes, this will stick with you no matter how. I can still remember, if I close my eyes, I can still remember some of the notes that I took on a paper while studying during the summer vacation with my father, repeating whatever we did in university, or he used to, get me to sit with him every summer and to start to teach me the courses of the coming year and the laws that, I'm going to be exposed to, so I can have a better understanding. But this much of reading, this much of research, the amount of time that we spend reading, whether for university, duties that we have to deliver, or for clients practicing as a lawyer, or for our own knowledge, it helped build the legal knowledge that we have, the basis of the legal knowledge, where now if you see a law, or you read a big law like a commercial code or a maritime code or an insurance code, you can understand the basic legal principles that a law is set upon, and then you can start to explain to your clients. That doesn't happen. I don't want to say that students these days are not well established in law. No, there are.
They read less.
Yes, they read less. Yes, they have easier access. They didn't spend time and effort to actually go and research and find this material. I remember I used to sit 4 or 5 hours straight in the university library just researching one single point. And when you do that, you come across different articles, different cases.
Absolutely.
So you start going from one book to another, and this helps build your knowledge. This helps build your knowledge. It's easier, definitely it's easier, and we should take advantage that it's getting easier for students to learn, to get information, but we need to direct them. Universities have to help them not find the right answers, but formulate the right answer. Okay,
yeah.
You have the access, yes.
Have you seen a gap between as you said, the fresh graduates or the younger generation who are more acquainted with the technology and the use of technology, and the seniors who are already well established and so on, that these guys are much faster and the old school are still a little behind with the technology? Especially in terms of research.
Some of the old school lawyers, if we are old school lawyers,
kind of.
Some of the old school lawyers may not, keep up with technology. We can keep up. We're still young. We can keep up. We can build our offices to be, tech friendly. People who are studying and graduating from universities now, who have easy access to technology, yes, this is wow, this is wonderful. But we don't need to lose sight of the main purpose, that even though information is accessible, and it should be accessible, you need to be taught how to find the right answer and how to formulate the right answer, or to think as a lawyer. It's not only about having the access to legislation or information, because if you don't know how to use it,
it's useless. Yeah, it's a weapon without...
We had a university professor that used to teach us the civil code back then. And he was always, telling us that I don't mind giving you an exam with an open book. Just take all the books you need. If you understand if you understand the lesson and you understand the law, you will find these books useful. If you don't understand, you don't study, you don't do your own research, I can give you 10 volumes of laws and tell you these are all applicable to your case, but you won't be able to solve your exam because you don't understand. So it's a matter of understanding what legal is and how you think in a legal way, and then you can find your answers. Yes, in a click of a button, it's easy. That's good. It should be this way.
The skill is beyond the resources.
Yes.
Yes.
So people need to build skills that adapt with technology, but you have to do the research. You have to do the research. The gap is not about the students not being well knowledge. No, they have the knowledge, but it's about them being probably more used to free access, not free in money. I mean, easy access. Yeah. compared to what we had in our days. We had to look in libraries. We
Yeah.
had to bring down books, see the index, read the text. If you don't find, return it, and then come back and do the whole process again for 100 or 200 books. I think this has enabled, at least I speak from a personal experience, this has enabled me that I can research. I can do a proper research with the access of technology, but I can do research and find content that's not available on Legal Solutions, or I need to dig it from a government portal somewhere. I need to dig a case from Dubai Court's website. I know how to dig it, not because of technology, because I have a skill of, I formulated in my mind a skill of what I need to look for so I can locate the case I need. This is an example.
Yeah, I'm going to go back asking about you yourself. I mean, your father was in private practice, I understand. He is a lawyer, and you did.
He's still.
And you did work with him for a while, I understand.
I worked for 5 years.
5 years.
Before I started my trip towards the GCC region, yeah.
And this switch, don't you miss it to go back to the private practice?
I do miss it, and I'm trying to go back, to be honest. It's my career, and it's my profession, and it's the job that I chose because I love it. And the more I practice it, the more I find myself, yes, I love to do this, with all the pain of being a lawyer, and doing the work, and being responsible for, you're actually telling someone to do or not to do something. So this is a huge responsibility. But
absolutely.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. But
Alhamdulillah.
I miss it, and the plan for me in the future is to actually go back to practice, and I don't know, maybe build my own practice.
That's very interesting.
On top of what my father has built. It's a legacy.
Sure.
It's a legacy that I'm proud to be coming from, and to actually develop into the future.
I'm sure any legal practice you do is going to be very successful, because you're one of the sharpest lawyers I've met. We communicate all the time on our social group of lawyers, and we know you as the one who's gonna easily find a mistake in any of the advices that anybody is
I do my
giving.
own research as well. Sometimes I don't have the answers for all the questions, and if someone asks something that I don't know, I don't answer. It's not about knowing everything, but if it's something that's appealing or something that I might have a notion of, I go back and research, double check, confirm my answers, and then I would provide my feedback. And I may still be wrong sometimes, I don't know. But yes, I do that. And I usually do that in most of the subjects that I love, or I like to practice more. Employment, for example, or real estate, or stuff like that. But I don't go into too much critical practice areas, criminal stuff. I can do the research, but I don't. I know it's a bit tricky here in the
the practical side is very important on these areas.
So it needs, especially the questions that are coming, from the colleagues. They're too practical, so I don't have this experience. I'm honest. But I believe, in most of the cases they ask, I can provide an answer, but I do my own research. This is a tip, so people would know. Before I answer anything, I double check always.
For the last 10 years, you've been you've been working for a LegalTech solution, more or less. What do you say, or what do you advise to the new lawyers or people who are pursuing a legal career? What are the main important skills that lawyers have to have in order to thrive in their career today?
Look, the basic research skills and knowledge skills, and compounding your knowledge, and this won't happen unless you read as much as you can. You have to read, regardless of technology. You have to read to understand and compound the knowledge, and research. If you want to grow your knowledge, you need to research as much as you can, or as much time allows you. But apart from that, this goes without saying. Any lawyer needs to do that. The additional skills that we can see growing in the past few years is technology. So you need to adapt yourself to technology. You need to adapt yourself, embrace the change that technology is bringing, and benefit from it, basically. I'm not of the view that machines will replace humans or AI will, kill jobs. I don't believe in killing jobs. I think it's about maybe switching the scope of the job, or maybe the description of what you do. So an editor will remain an editor. He can benefit from AI tools, but he can still do the job of an editor. And the lawyer is the same way. And this is very practical for the legal profession. The legal profession relies a lot on critical thinking as well, and AI is not yet there. It can help a lot. It can summarize documents for you. It can translate at some point if you want. It can get you the right information, probably, if you want, if you do a research or ask a question.
Even ideas, if you want ideas to draft.
You need to do your due diligence.
Yes.
And you do need to actually put all of the factors and information you get together so you can formulate a proper answer or proper opinion. So I think most students now, I believe universities will start even soon, including probably technology courses for lawyers.
You mean you're suggesting law schools?
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
You need to get. It's not only about giving access in libraries. 80% of students maybe don't access, or 70%.
Yes.
They go in once or twice, not on a regular basis to be used to tech. But if you give it as a course, as an elective course, for example, teach them about how you can be effective in your legal research, how to do a proper legal research using AI tools or technology tools. This is very important. And one more thing, I don't think it's about technology only. It's basically about knowledge. A student or a lawyer, in my personal opinion, needs to have general knowledge across different practice areas. Yes, I know you can be specialized in M&As, you can be specialized in maritime. This is all fine. You will be the expert who people go to when it comes to insurance, for example. Yes, but if you are a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, you have an office and you get clients from everywhere and different cases, you have to have basic knowledge, finance knowledge. It's very important. It's very important. It's you said I'm a bookworm. I'm reading a book about the Greece financial crisis that happened in 2015 or before that.
Yeah.
And I'm reading this book because I started reading it because I was interested with our financial crisis that happened in Lebanon. I think you've heard of it 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yes.
And I wanted to understand how the financial system works across the globe, and why does a government is in debt, or how can banks be bankrupt and stuff like that. And I found that this book is interesting. He was a minister of finance in Greece. He's been banned, by the way, from Germany recently because of the recent incidents happening in Palestine.
Yes,
what he's preaching.
He's very vocal about politics.
Yes, very, too much. So I got interested in his views, and I'm reading his book now, and I found that you need knowledge. You need knowledge, and law covers everything. It covers everything.
Yeah.
So, crypto, for example, this is finance, but there is a legal side, a regulated side of it, right? Virtual assets. This is one side of it. Anything is the commercial side is there. You need to understand it from a commercial perspective.
But there's always the legal regulatory aspect.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's not only about what the law says and we go by the book. You need to understand.
Yeah. Since you're one of the most people I know who are reading laws and they're so up to date,
yes.
What is the one law that you would either change or introduce? You're free to suggest either to change one or to introduce one in the UAE, maybe.
In the UAE.
That probably is
The UAE is very active.
Yes.
In terms of legislation, they're very active, and they've gone through a whole
so
enhancement of laws.
Yes.
They issued 50 or 55 laws in the past 3 or 5 years, 2 years to 3 years. They changed a lot of legislation, but I think one of them would be, I wouldn't say change, probably develop or enhance or build in a better structured way. Probably would be the leasing law.
Leasing.
Rental law, in Dubai, and can be across other Emirates as well. But I've had a lot of friends and family members come and ask me recently about rental issues, increases and eviction notices and a lot of that. And I found that the law sometimes can be obscure and you need more clarity. Now, yes, you can see what the practice is with the courts, but still, if you have a better structured law, maybe provide all the answers that people are now actually, or answers to the issues that people are facing within the rental relationship. It's good. I mean, the law was passed in 2007. It was amended a couple of times, not too long ago. The recent one was maybe in 2009 or 8 or 9, and it has been applicable since then. It's going fine, but I mean, it's good to have an update. It's been 16 years now. So a lot of change.
I totally agree with you. What I would say in this regard, and particularly for the same law, I would pretty much like if there is a unified law as well in regards to tenant and landlord relationship all over the UAE. Not that I have a different
it will help a lot.
regulation.
Definitely, a federal law that covers all the Emirates on a unified level. This is very important. It's great actually. But I think that each Emirate has its own probably
regulatory agency where they
not only the rents in Dubai, the activity in Dubai, the commercial practice in Dubai is different than it is in Sharjah or Ras Al Khaimah or any other Emirate. So you cannot put one simple rule that applies to all rents across all Emirates still, unless you have all Emirates are of the same level. You cannot charge people a similar rent for example, a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom in Dubai Marina, and charge it the same way in Ras Al Khaimah or Al Ain, or there are factors that come into play. So yes, the local factors of each emirate is important to take into consideration. Maybe at some point we might get to see a federal law for lease.
I think if
it might set the basic principles
at
least, but then there might be But this is a bit of a private activity between a tenant and a landlord, and it's restricted to the emirate that you are in. So that's why I think they keep it separately regulated for now.
Nadim, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. It's always a pleasure to brainstorm with you some ideas and so on. Thank you very much for coming, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you for the opportunity, and it's been a pleasure. And we're seeing the previous videos of all your.
Thanks. It's a pleasure and an honor to bring you here, and I'm sure we're going to repeat it soon.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This is your dose from Mandi Legal. See you next week.